And then we wonder why we're in the situation we're in and we don't understand the causal factors. How about we have to affirm to really employ real diagnostics and problem solving if we're ever going to get to a solution? You can't just try to reason this out with your emotions. You got to really understand what's the cause. How do I diagnose? What needs to be corrected? What is the actual solution? And the actual solution is always moral education. It all comes back to that one dynamic, that one all-encompassing solution. People don't take it seriously. I know they don't. I know people don't take seriously what I say about that being the one and only solution because they're not doing it. You can't take it seriously if you're sitting back not engaging it at all or practically at all. It can't be taken seriously. People think my work is a joke or some form of fucking entertainment. Ignorance of causal factors for problems always leads to chaos and suffering in our lives. Without the understanding of causation, you are not ever able to solve any problems. And all that's going to happen is you're going to get stuck in the cycle of suffering. The wheel of karma is just going to go take you round and round. We must affirm to diagnose problems through knowledge to the extent that we definitively understand the true solutions. Diagnose the problem until you definitively understand what the solution is. That's part of shadow work. A good affirmation regarding this dynamic is, I will correctly diagnose the health problems I have been experiencing. It could apply to the wider world, it could apply to the microcosmic world. I will correctly diagnose the health problems I've been experiencing to the extent that I will come to know the true causal factors. I will stop advocating my responsibility for my health to the corporate medical cartels and doctors that don't give a rat shit about me except how many Lexuses I could put in their driveway. Through accurate diagnoses, I will discover the true solutions that must be employed to correct my health issues. Otherwise, you want to go on the hamster wheel of continuously going and paying the medical cartels outrageous amounts of money through insurance, through your own pocket, whatever. And all you're doing is throwing wealth into somebody that doesn't give a rat's ass about real healing. And that's most of the medical industry, if not all of it. Largely all of it. With few exceptions, but some. My point is, until you affirm to true problem solving, you're going to go around on that hamster wheel eternally. Don't expect anything new, different, or healing to magically take place. You're the cause of it by not learning what the real causes are. Your ignorance keeps you going around in that hamster wheel. So you got to affirm, once you make the acknowledgement, my ignorance is the problem, you got to affirm to correcting that. Affirm to get off the bench and start putting skin in the game. Make an affirmation to do that. That it is now time for action and I'm not going to sit on the sidelines and watch passively. Most people want to continue to complain about the deteriorating conditions in our world. Most people just want to sit and complain. But few ever make the commitment to make the necessary sacrifices and get onto the spiritual battlefield without excuses. Doesn't matter how many hours you work. Doesn't matter how many days of the week you work. If you have to get up in the fucking middle of the night and do it, then that's what you gotta fucking do, motherfucker. That's it. Nobody wants to hear that. There is no excuse. I don't care if you have 3 jobs. You gotta make time in between the fucking 3 jobs. I have a job that I'm never off from. I take a day off. I feel guilty half the time because I'm not busting my ass in here. There is no day off from the great work. We must affirm to meet the requirements for our stated goals. All the wishful thinking in the world will not accomplish the goals being manifested through action. You could have all the wishful thinking you want. You're never going to manifest those goals unless you take right action and put skin in the game. We must commit to act to bring about positive change. A good affirmation regarding getting involved to solve the problems we face is something like this. I will get involved and I will do something. I will cease complaining about things that I have not personally attempted to improve myself through my own behavior. Make that commitment. I'll stop complaining about anything that I haven't directly myself attempted to improve through my actions. How about people do that? Stop pointing fingers at anybody else. Stop fucking complaining. Don't open your mouth and complain for 1 second unless you're directly involved in the solution. And how many people can say that? Well, I can raise my fucking hand all day. But can you? I seriously doubt it. Here's another part of that commitment, that affirmation. I will take required action. I will put skin in the game. And I will do whatever it takes. No, you don't hear many people saying that, do you? You hear people complaining about all kinds of nonsense and bullshit, but you ask them to actually put skin in the game and commit to real world action, they're out the fucking door in 10 seconds. Make an affirmation to develop your personal willpower, to develop the willpower to improve in any area of your life. You got to crank the willpower way up, and you got to keep it there, and you got to stop making excuses for its absence. We have been mentally conditioned to give up far too easily, often by the people we respected and cared for early in life. You know what the greatest disservice our parents, our teachers, our friends, our family members, all these bullshitters ever really did to us? They told us, don't do things that are hard. Take the easy way out. Take the shortcut. Don't press yourself. If you get really frustrated, quit that and do something else. No greater disservice has ever been done to humanity. And this is what parents, especially fucking before boomer age, greatest generation so-called, and boomer age parents, this is what they did. They taught their children to be wishy-washy, soft let me say it right. Wishy-washy, soft motherfuckers. That's what they taught them to be. Soft. And you can't say any worse word to somebody. Believe me, you come up with all the curse words you want, all the profanity. The worst thing you could ever call somebody is soft. And that's what most people are. You're fucking soft. And let it sink in and feel it. That's a word that should hurt. And that's what most people are. Because their parents told them, don't develop fucking willpower. Don't develop resolve. Don't develop steeling yourself and preparing yourself to force something to happen. No, take the easy way out. Take the way out there's no aggravation. And there's also no fucking reward. And you're a spineless fucking coward. And you've never accomplished anything in your miserable fucking existence, loser. Yeah, take that way out. Your parents gave you great fucking advice. They didn't build your character up worth a shit. That's why you want to know why the freedom movement's failing? Go blame your fucking parents that taught you to be fucking soft. Because that's what most of the freedom movement is. Soft losers. But get as fucking offended as you like, tune the fuck out. Still going to be true tomorrow and every day after that. Sadly, most of us have been deliberately taught not to develop willpower, not to develop drive, not to develop determination, not to develop tenacity, not to develop a never give up attitude. This is especially true regarding goals of true importance that are very difficult to achieve, like changing our world for the better. Oh, they want you to stay away from that one. Don't develop the willpower and resolve to do that. Just stay a fucking weak shit loser. A good affirmation regarding the development of willpower is, I will work to build my willpower stronger and stronger. I will unlearn the ways I was taught to give up by my parents, teachers, family, and others. I will take on a never say die attitude when it comes to my goals and the goals of achieving really difficult and important things in life and in the world. That's a good affirmation in shadow work. Again, you got to say these things out loud, folks. Right in the mirror to yourself. Say them out loud for the universe to hear. The universe is spoken into existence, and so is personal change. The universe is spoken into existence, and so is personal change. Affirm to develop the courage to do what must be done. And I mean whatever it takes. Total personal commitment and resolve to do what is necessary. Courage must be developed within us in order to defeat cowardice, the third of the great destroyers of human consciousness and freedom. We must use the shadow work process of self-examination to discover the true sources of fear within us. After looking fear head on, the next step is to affirm the development of courage. So you got to sit there and be like, why am I afraid to speak out? What's the fear factor that's holding me back? What am I going to do to eliminate that and build courage? You got to sit there and have this conversation with your fucking self. And we don't do this. And that's the problem. That's the problem why you're not built into a strong individual. That's the problem why you're fucking weak. That's the problem why we're losing. Why our team is losing. We got weaklings on our side. We don't have any warriors standing in the fucking trenches with battle rifles, metaphorically. We got wishy-washy losers hiding under the fucking staircase. A proper affirmation for building up courage to do what needs to be done. Here it is. I will face my fear of failure, which has been preventing me from doing what I must do. I will engage this fear, and I will bring it to the level of my conscious awareness. It won't stay at the unconscious level or the subconscious level. I will conquer my cowardice, and I will do what I know is necessary. People are not committing to these things. That's why so few people are doing the great work. If people were doing this shadow work and committing to doing whatever needs to be done, we would be winning by now. And here's the phrase I hear every day on the alternative media. We're winning! We're winning! What are we winning? What prize are we fucking winning? A big bag of horse shit to go with our shackles around our neck? Is that what we're winning? Because believe me, we ain't winning anything worth winning. You're fooling yourself if you think we are, and you think we're on some kind of a winning fucking path. We have to affirm to understand and accept true responsibility, which most people want to run directly in the opposite direction from. They want to run away from personal responsibility. Most people think responsibility is, oh, I can pay my own bills. Oh, I can pay my mortgage and my car payment. That's not real fucking responsibility. That's just what you need to do to live in the physical fucking world. You think that's real responsibility? Yeah, it's irresponsible to just fuck off and lose those things just because you don't care enough to even meet those requirements. But that's not what real responsibility in life is as an individual and as an adult. It's about taking on the really important challenges, especially in the face of something that is completely as unjust and evil as enslavement. And we're not worried about that. No, we'll sit back and take all those offenses to our soul and to our being that government puts on us. But we're real worried about making that mortgage payment and that car payment. Well, and once again, I'm not saying, don't do those things. I'm saying in addition to doing those things, you got to take on the great work. True responsibility involves far more than being able to maintain basic life needs. Self-examination in the shadow work process must lead us to the understanding of what true responsibility really is. This means deeply grasping that the solution to the human condition is proper moral education. And if that is to be accomplished, we must each take up our part in that great work and communicate and publish in the digital space so that we make people fully understand objective morality and natural law. A good affirmation regarding this deeper responsibility is this: I will accept and own my own personal responsibility to leave the world in a better condition. I will be responsible for furthering true moral education because that is the only solution to the human condition of slavery. And you better know and bet your fucking ass that it's the only answer and the only solution. If you don't know that, you are gone goose is what you are. This is your song if you don't understand that true moral education is the only real answer. And here it is. You're duck quacking your way into slavery lane. Okay? That's where you're headed. You're engaging in that politic-quack and in that monetary quack. This is all I hear people talking about. Politics and fucking money. And you think those are the answers to the condition of slavery? You're out of your fucking gourd. And you're engaging in 1984 fucking duck speak that Orwell talked about. You're quacking the fuck away and you're saying shit. Quacking away, saying nothing. It's got to be this harsh, folks, because where we are at is so deplorable. It's deplorable. So it's got to be this intense. And it's got to be this direct confrontational, because people ain't getting the fucking message otherwise. How about affirming your engagement in right and effective action? Make a commitment to that. Make a commitment to truly doing what is right instead of just floating downstream wherever the currents of a so-called fate take you. How about directing the course of your own life? How about becoming strong and developing a never say die attitude and doing what's required as a being? It's far easier to remain complacent and inactive than it is to actively involve yourself in difficult work. And when I say remain complacent and inactive, I don't mean you just quit your job and sit on your fucking couch until somebody confiscates your fucking house. I mean, you're going and doing your so-called pay job, your job for money. But you're not involved in what's right after that. I don't care like I said, how many hours of the week you're spending at a regular fucking job. The great work has to be added on top of that. You don't like hearing that? Fuck off. That's the truth of the matter. And most people aren't doing it. I don't care what the excuse is. I'm fucking tired too. I'm tired of doing this shit for 18 years with very little help. With no support, with hardly any fucking support, with not being platformed on anything that is even remotely larger than my platform. Because people don't want to hear this. This is too harsh to fucking hear. They want wishy-washy bullshit that promises them something for free. And I'm only telling you, you could be guaranteed fucking hard fucking work and sacrifice if you want to get something fucking done that's worth getting done. I'm the real fucking deal, motherfuckers. I'm telling you what the real truth is. That's why most people hate me to the death and don't want to fucking hear another word. I said it in a billion fucking ways that were very nice. We're beyond that now. It's too fucking late for that. This is the 11th hour, 59th minute, 59th second. And if you don't know that, you're fucking completely asleep. It's far easier to remain complacent and inactive than it is to actively involve yourself in very difficult work. If we properly acknowledge our inadequacies regarding taking right action, right and effective action in the first stage of shadow work, if we have made that acknowledgement, I'm not actively involved. I should be more involved and I'm not. That's the acknowledgement. Then we will begin to see clearly the work that we must do and make an affirmation for that in step 2. In the second stage, we must affirm a commitment to taking right action, which defeats the fourth destroyer of consciousness, laziness and cowardice. Even if we currently do not know exactly how to perform those required tasks, you don't need to know how the outcome is to be achieved. You just need to make a commitment to do it. You could find out all the steps after that. Specific plans of action can be formulated after we commit ourselves to active engagement. You got to make the personal promise to yourself first. Then you can learn how to do it in step 3 in the action stage. That's when you plan action items and action plans. A good affirmation regarding the dynamic of affirming to actually engage in right and moral and effective action is this: I will take the necessary right actions to better both myself and humanity. I will defeat the inaction and laziness within myself. And I will commit to an effective plan of action for self-betterment. I will do those things. I will commit to that right action. I will get involved on the spiritual battlefield. I will personally communicate natural law and objective morality to the people of this world. I will stop remaining an anonymous coward and do what is required for me to do. Once again, folks, this isn't about the little light shit that I want to be a better gardener. This is about the heavy shit that I want to truly be a better person and truly engage in true moral education so we defeat slavery and tyranny on this planet. There's an agenda here. This is about getting people motivated to do the great work. That's where shadow work has to lead. Make an affirmation to secure resources from right livelihood, not from wrong livelihood, immoral livelihood, which we talked about earlier. Resources will always be required while we live in a physical 3D state. You're not going to get rid of just requiring things through work. Things are going to be required, and work is going to be required to obtain them. I don't care what form of interchange or money exists. There's going to have to be work done to procure resources in life. And you want to be in right livelihood to do that. We cannot compromise our principles. Principles in general cannot be compromised to obtain resources via a paycheck. We must commit to right livelihood in the shadow work process, even if it means leaving an immoral job that has provided security in resources for a moral job that provides less resources. Let me say that again. You got to commit to quitting an immoral job, even if when you go into a moral job to replace it, you're making less. You have to take the hit. This is another thing nobody will say to people. And even if it means your family's got to take the hit, then they got to take the fucking hit. That's it. You can't keep doing what is wrong. You got to take the suffering onto yourself, not deliver it to other people. Not continue to engage in wrong behavior. I don't care if your family suffers. You put them in that situation by doing a wrong job. Then if they have to suffer for a little while before you could procure the necessary resources to be a little bit comfortable again, so fucking be that. And get as fucking all uppity as you fucking want. It'll still never be untrue. This can be one of the most frightening aspects of self-examination, to understand you have to quit your fucking job and do something else because you're an immoral person because of the job you do. It's just one of the reasons. Because of such ego identification, this is one of the most frightening aspects of self-examination because people are so self-identified with their job. They think that's who they are instead of something they're just doing. Currently, they believe it's their identity. They're wrapped up in ego identification with their job or their role or how they operate in society or their family, etc. Because of such ego identification, most people can rarely even imagine how they can stop doing their current job, even when they know that the job that they are currently doing is wrong and that they are wrong for continuing to do such work. Even if they know it's immoral, they can't imagine how they could do anything else because of their lack of imagination and how fucked up they are mentally. And then they're dwelling in shame because they've done what is wrong for so long. Without a strong commitment to moral livelihood, all other gains we may have made in shadow work will not amount to much because we are still allowing ourselves to be used as instruments and tools and assistants of harm upon others for money. A good affirmation regarding true right livelihood would be, I will engage in work that I know is moral. I will cease and desist in helping others to conduct harm just because I receive payment for such work. Even if I can't currently imagine another option, I will suffer in the short term, and if necessary, even allow loved ones who are dependent upon me to suffer in the short term to do what I know to be right in the long term. How many people will commit and affirm to that? Not too fucking many. You want to know why the world is in the shit condition it's in? There it is right there. People don't put any skin in the game. They don't take right action. They're engaged in wrong livelihood, and they won't fucking take a hit to do what's right. People go, how could you tell somebody to do that and their family will suffer? Well, you wouldn't say to the fucking Nazi prison camp guard, quit your fucking job? You wouldn't say that to some of the fucking Stasi? You wouldn't say that to fucking secret police of other totalitarian regimes? No, you just be like, oh, well, you're doing your job to provide for your family. Let me try to get the voice right. Yeah, I would need a lot more drool. Yeah, you're doing your job to provide for your family. You sound like a fucking drooling retard. This is what I hear from morons every day. And you want to say, people want to say that they're moral fucking people? They want to say that they're fucking engaged in doing what's right? They want to say that they want freedom? You want a boot on your fucking face is what you want. And everybody else's. Because all you give a fuck about is money, and that's your fucking loser god. You ain't involved in any aspect of what's right if you continue wrong livelihood. None. It sets back any advances you might make in self-improvement and shadow work if you continue to engage in a job that is morally wrong. And that's every government job. Certainly affirm to stop being one of these pieces of fucking garbage, an order follower. Order followers are the worst of the worst when it comes to ignoring self-examination and continuing to conduct and support harming others for a paycheck. They're literal demon consciousness. They are demon NPCs, is what these fucking rat trash are. These are fucking vermin trash. Verminous trash. If you don't already deeply understand why this is true, you should definitely revisit my previous work with What on Earth is Happening to understand that order followers are the lowest consciousness garbage that exists on Earth, and any other planet for that matter. It's actually impossible to abdicate to others your own personal responsibility to learn true morality and align your behavior to it through your own will. It's impossible. You can claim all you want that you want to do that. Now, I'm abdicating my responsibility to the guy giving me the orders. He's the one who's responsible. No, you're fucking wrong, loser. You're responsible for your behavior, no matter who told you to do it. If we are being honest, if being honest with yourself is paramount in shadow work, and it is, you must affirm to quit following orders and learn to grasp objective morality for yourself and not take orders from anyone else. If one is not engaging with conscience, their shadow work is not being conducted honestly and therefore certainly cannot be successful. You think any order follower can actually be successful in doing shadow work and self-transformation and self-transmutation into a better being? Impossible. Impossible until you quit this fucking loser job. When we conduct the self-examination dynamics of shadow work, both honestly and successfully, we fully realize that no one who is following orders can truly be exercising conscience, and therefore, no one who is following orders can truly be a good person. Every order follower is a bad person. If you're engaged in any dynamic of this type of livelihood, you're not a good and moral person. You are a bad person. Because you are not willfully following conscience. You are willfully following orders. That's the definition of the fucking job. You can't change the definition of words. An order follower means you're following orders and you're not following conscience. No order follower can be simultaneously following orders and conscience. Following conscience means that you are not following orders because you've correctly assessed right versus wrong and you're simply using your free will to actually engage in what is right. So if your job entails any following of orders that you don't have the right to refuse unless you quit that job, you're not a good person. Get the fuck over it. Anybody who's trying to argue with me about this dynamic, you are wrong. And forever will be. A good affirmation to abandon the immoral dynamic of order following is this: I will stop being an order follower. No matter what type of discomfort this creates in my life, I will endure it, and I will force myself to engage conscience and quit my immoral job. No excuses, no qualifications, no over dramatizing or whatever. Putting any extra dynamic onto it. Just say what's true and make a commitment to doing the right thing. Even if you don't know how you're going to do it. Even if you don't know how you'll live and survive and pay your bills and put food on your family's table or your own table, you do it anyway. You do what's right anyway, and you let the universe take care of the rest of it. You don't think that forces will come to your assistance when you will see things rearrange organically and dynamically when you start to do the right thing out of true care for what is true and good, as opposed to fear for maybe not having the resources that you once had, so you'll just keep committing to evil. Only garbage does that. Only trash does that. I don't care what color you are. White trash, black trash, yellow trash, red trash, blue and green fucking trash, rainbow trash. Don't matter. You're trash. That's it. You want to stop being trash? You stop following orders. And you do a job that involves right livelihood. How about making an affirmation to stop spreading poisonous worldview everywhere? You know, that's one of the questions you got to ask yourself. Have I been guilty of that? And answer it honestly. Then make a commitment to stop doing it. Our mental diet is just as important as our physical one. When our own worldview is poisoned with falsity, we invariably propagate it to others and steer their minds in the completely wrong direction, which invariably leads to more wrong behavior in our world. A good affirmation to commit to stop spreading worldview poisoning is this: I will heal my own worldview and stop spreading falsity which poisons the worldview of others. I will cease steering others' work in the wrong direction because I know wrong thinking leads to wrong behavior. Steering others' worldview, I should say. I'm sorry, I said the word work. I will cease steering others' worldview in the wrong direction because I know wrong thinking leads to wrong behavior. That's why everything begins and ends with worldview, ladies and gentlemen. And we have to stop poisoning other people's worldview through religious and political garbage nonsense. Make an affirmation to teach objective morality and natural law. This is a great variant of the Justice card in the tarot deck. Shadow work, if conducted honestly and effectively, will always lead us to the truth that the only solution to the human condition of slavery is true moral education. And that is done digitally in the world. It ain't done with a fucking megaphone. It ain't done with paper and pen. It ain't done with talking to your fucking next door neighbor. It's done online. It's done digitally through modern digital communication and publishing. And you got to get your head out up your ass that if you think learning a computer is not involved in that process. The computer is the creative tool for content creation. And proper moral education happens online these days. You know, not with a fucking quill pen and an inkwell. Okay? For all the fucking 90-year-olds among us. Or 100-year-olds, you know? You got to learn how to operate a fucking computer, and you got to learn how to publish and communicate in the modern day. And if you're not doing that, you ain't involved in the solution. You're playing with your pud, as the old saying went. That's what you're doing. You're not involved in the solution. The more people involved in the work of true moral education, the faster human slavery can be ended. Shadow work leads us to the unwavering conclusion that we must make a deep commitment to spreading the understanding of natural law by publicly teaching it to others. Not secret agent teaching, not, oh my God, I'm Agent 007 today, boy, and nobody's going to know my name in any chat I participate in. I'm going to be an anonymous coward. You think you're going to do the great work like that? Get the fuck over your own fucking bullshit ego. Okay? A good affirmation regarding this dynamic of teaching natural law to others is, I will teach natural law and objective morality in a public capacity. I will engage the great work of true moral education, for I know that it is the only solution to achieving true freedom for all. And if you don't understand that, once again, you're an asleep motherfucker. You're not awake in any capacity whatsoever if you don't understand that true moral education done publicly is the only fucking solution. You haven't even begun the understanding of the solution. That's why the fucking dark occultists call your ass the unbegun. Yeah, you're not initiated. You haven't started. Yeah, that's what they mean by that. The unbegun. That's one of the things they call people. You know, one of the other things they call people? They call them the fucking dead. because they say their consciousness is so dead and that they refer to them as the dead. And then look at the things that they do to them that are completely immoral as, well, I'm just doing that to a dead being that has no consciousness. Because they're not here. They're an NPC. They're not an actual player in the game of life. They're just fucking dead flesh. They're dead robotic fucking matter that we programmed to be dead. And so, hey, we could do anything we want to them. Consider them our property. And again, affirmations can go on and on and on, like acknowledgments could go on and on and on. I will express more gratitude for what I have. I will put more resources toward the great work. I will be patient with those who are making a sincere effort. I will get involved in the war against tyranny instead of just complaining. I will listen better instead of just waiting to speak. I will teach others what I have learned thus far. We have to make affirmations for all of those dynamics and many, many, innumerable more. Once again, this is not work that ends or stops. It goes on and on and on. So there's a million affirmations that can be made.